Hello everyone. Today's going to be a quick lesson on the circumference of a circle and the area of a circle. You've probably seen or have heard of this concept before. Circumference and area are both formulas that you can find on your formula sheet. So if you wanted to, go ahead and get out your formula sheet and do me a favor and make sure you have a calculator, because it's easy to do if you have a calculator in front of you. If not, it takes longer and you're less likely to do the problem. So go ahead and pause the video, get a calculator, let's get ready to go. If you look at the formula sheet, you'll see that there is the formula for circumference of a circle. The most popular way that most of you probably have seen the formula for a circle is 2 pi r. I have under here, there's two ways to write the formula, because if you can understand the radius of a circle, what is 2 times any radius? That's also the diameter. So another way to write this is d pi. If you have the radius, then I'm probably going to multiply it by 2 and then multiply it by pi. If I have the diameter, then I'll just take the diameter and multiply it by pi. So if I'm asking you, I give you this and I ask you to find the circumference of the circle, first thing I'm probably going to do is write the formula down, 2 pi r. I know 2 and pi are a number, and I'm going to multiply by r, which is 8. Go ahead and put that in a calculator, and except of using the pi button, we're going to use 3.14. So go ahead and times 2 times 3.14 times 8. And you will get 50.24. Sorry about that, my pen didn't work. You would get 50.24. And since it's area, we want to say that it's since it's circumference, we want to say meters. The other way I can kind of ask the problem is I can ask you for the diameter, or I can ask you for the radius if I give you the circumference. So since it's 50.24, I'm going to say equals 2 pi r. You could also just set another way you could do it is 50.24 equals d pi, since I'm asking for the diameter. If you use 2 pi, just note it's okay to divide by 2 pi at one time, but please make sure you either put it in parentheses or change that to 3.14 times 2 is 6.28. Make sure you change that to 6.8. Be careful on a calculator. Do not take 50.24, divide it by 2, and then pi without putting in parentheses, because it will divide it by 2, then multiply your answer by pi. So go ahead and make sure you do this so that you'll get that the radius is 8. If you did it this way, all you would have to do is divide by pi, and remember we're using 3.14, and so 50 divided by 4 divided by 3.14 is 16. If I wanted the radius, this would probably be the better way to do it. Since it asks for diameter, this is your final answer, or take this answer and multiply it by 2, whatever works for you. That's really the extent of circumference. I'll talk about exact and approximate answers in the next slide after we do area. So let's come here. Let's talk about the area of a circle. It is another extremely easy formula. You've probably seen it before, but the formula for the area of a circle is pi r squared. Okay, so there is a difference. You can't really substitute diameter in unless you really feel like doing diameter divided by 2. But then, so you could do d divided by 2 instead of r, but then you would have to square that. So you have to make sure it's going to be diameter squared and 2 to the squared, which is 4. So I think it's just easier to use pi r squared. If ever given the diameter, figure out the radius. So right here, I give you the radius. It's pi 8 squared. Make sure you're realizing that's not 16, that's 64 times 3.14, which is 296. Okay, and since this is area, it's meters squared. I give you the area in this next one, and I tell you that the area of the circle is 18 pi. Please make sure you're checking. if pi's with the answer, I'm trying to make it easier for you. If it's not with the answer, then you have to realize you might get a decimal. But actually, since 18 isn't a perfect square, it's going to be kind of ugly anyway. The area, so area is pi r squared. The area is 18 pi, and it's pi r squared. So if there's pi on both sides, they're canceling. 18 equals r squared, and r is the square root of 18. So for now, the radius is 4.2. If that is a perfect square, like 81, then the square root of 81 is just 9. So if pi's in the answer, it's because a lot of times it makes it a nicer number. But since 18 wasn't a perfect square, it didn't come out that nice. Round to the nearest tenth, unless I tell you otherwise. But let's go and talk about exact and approximate. So here's another example. I'm asking for the exact and approximate circumference of a circle. If I want exact, it means to leave pi in the answer. As soon as you use 3.14, you're rounding. So in real life, if people really had to maybe make a garden or make a table or whatever they're doing, you can't really approximate, otherwise you would be short material. So you would leave pi in the answer, and obviously you would have to err on the side of big. So right here, I ask you for the exact and approximate of circumference. I give you the diameter in this, so I'm just going to write d pi. I'm going to say the circumference is 20 pi. That's exact. Okay, if I want approximate, then its circumference is, and take 20 times 3.14, which is 62.8. And since it's circumference, it's meters, and that's it. 62.8 meters. Okay, I asked you to do the same thing in area. I asked for the exact and approximate of area of a circle. So I'm going to write that area is pi r squared. I'm going to say area equals pi, and you got to be careful because that's the diameter. So the radius is how much? 10. And if the radius is 10, then I square it, and 100 pi is your answer for exact. So sometimes I want stuff in exact, and maybe I have multiple choice and the answer is inexact, or vice versa. And then obviously 100 times 3.14 is 314. And since it's area, it's meters squared, and technically that's approximate, but obviously it comes out exact. If I'm asking you, let's just read the problem. The tires have a diameter of 31, so I might sketch a circle, I might put diameter, and I might put 31. What is the distance traveled by a car if the tire makes 150 revolutions? Obviously, it's a 31-inch diameter, so we're talking about inches. And so hopefully you realize they're talking about how much the tire goes around. So that's circumference. So I'm going to say circumference equals diameter times pi. So 31 pi, and this is all exact, so go ahead and do that. I'm sorry, this is all approximate, so we're rounding. So 1 revolution around a tire is 97.34. If it makes 150 revolutions, then I'm multiplying that number times 150. So it's 14,601 inches. Inches. If I wanted this answer in feet, I would simply divide by 12, and really it's 1,216 feet. So it's really not that far. It's not even close to a mile. So it seems like a lot. This number seems like a lot, but it's in inches. It's not really that far. And then let's look at this one. You have a 12-inch diameter pizza cut into 8 even slices. What's the area of each slice? So it kind of looks like this pizza down here. The diameter of your pizza is 12 inches. So 12 inches is your diameter. So since it's area, I'm really going to want the radius. So the radius is 6. I'm going to find the area of the circle. It's pi r squared. So I'm going to take 6 squared times pi. I'm going to take 36 times pi. I'm going to get 113.04. That's the entire pizza. It's divided into 8 slices, each having an area of 0.1, since it says the 10th and inches squared. So from that, you should be able to find the area of a circle given the radius or diameter. You should be able to find the circumference of a circle given the radius or diameter. And if I give you the area or I give you the circumference, you should be able to figure out what the diameter or radius is of either one. So go ahead and practice that worksheet. And that's it. Thanks.